Now, my question today, what does leading with love mean to you? Hello, Sigrid Kast here, book writing, publishing, and marketing specialist. I help entrepreneurs, people in business, especially women, make their dream of writing a book come true. Not just any book, a book that will elevate your leadership and authority and serve you as a tangible representation of your brand and a testament to your knowledge and experience. And I have with me today, Jane Lovas, executive coach with a huge vision of transforming leadership and organizations by creating a new paradigm for how businesses do business. Hello, Jane. Nice to have you here.
Hello, Sigrid. So great to be here. This is so exciting.
It is absolutely exciting because I do have a lot of questions around that topic. You are authoring a book, Leading with Love, 3 Pillars for Transformational Leadership. Now, I'm really looking forward to drawing attention to your insights on that topic today. There are loads of different approaches to leadership that I see in LinkedIn alone. Let's get started by telling us what leading with love means to you and how it's applied in business.
Yeah, yes, I am so excited to share this. And I will say the one thing I will clarify is when I talk about leading with love, I'm talking about love as a power. We know that when people do things from love, think of Gandhi, Martin Luther King. They were really committed to something big that was going to impact the world in a very positive way. And that's the power of love. Most of us, when we hear the word love, think of that emotion of a 13-year-old in love.
That's about right. And that is sort of what crossed my mind, thinking, okay, how do you apply love in business?
Exactly. And that's why there's a writer and a researcher by the name of David Hawkins. And he wrote a book called Power versus Force.
Mm-hmm.
And in that book, he discovered a way to actually measure the amount of power that words have. And the difference between power and force. Force is making you do something. I'm going to make you do something, as opposed to power is I'm going to lead you and pull you and support you into doing something. And so power has a much higher energy than force does. Well, love actually is the most powerful. It's kind of confusing because you're using the same word in 2 different ways as a measurement of how effective a word is. And love has the highest level of power.
So you've instantly reminded me when you used that description around power versus force, and that the leading with love is really about that power behind it all. The power of words is the most important part of communicating anywhere, and in particular in business. So I love what you said there, because the power of words with book writing, as you are experiencing with your own book, is huge, and it is something to consider. Which words am I going to use to achieve what outcome in the person's and the reader's mind reading the word? So is that a similarity to when you say leading with love? What are the words I choose to work and talk to the people around me? Is that what you're referring to?
And how you organize things. So the 3 pillars for transformational leadership are: leader, know thyself. And that means really, authentically looking and discovering who you really are. And I come from the space that we're all, as human beings, babies born, perfect, whole, and complete. And then things happen to us in our life. And we make up stories and we say, oh, I'm an aggressive person, or I'm a sweet little girl, or, oh, I hate people, or I love people, or, all of these things that we make up that then become how we lead. Because that's who we think of ourselves are.
Yeah. It's that power of the mindset of what we put in there, isn't it?
Yes. And yet, when we can take those stories and let them go and come back to who we really are, we're all unique and powerful in our own ways.
For sure. So that's the pillar number.
That's the first pillar, is know thyself. The second pillar is others first. So, but you can't put others first when you don't know yourself, because you don't trust yourself. You're always trying to get it. That's when we have that scarcity mentality. So it's really hard to put others first if you don't know yourself. When you know yourself, you can then focus on, and for leaders, this is your stakeholders. So it's your employees, your customers, your suppliers, your contractors, even the community, even the world. And by looking at how do you improve and support, what as a leader, what is your organization doing to support all of these?
So Jane, I'm going to jump in here and just ask you to clarify this. There is a lot of chatter in the social media streams, feeds, posts of people around, especially women, because that's sort of the focus I have around put yourself first. Now, how do you balance that? What does that mean to you when they say, no, you've got to put yourself first, then you can be better? How does that work?
That's so great. That's such a good question, because I actually had to wrestle with that a little bit. But you'll notice the first one is know yourself. See, when you know yourself, you know when you need to step aside and take care of yourself. So then you can freely put others first.
Right.
I'm not asking you to put their, the example is always putting the mask on.
Yes.
In the airplane.
Yes.
Well, you've put the mask on. Now you can go put the mask on everybody else. You can now focus and put them first.
Right. So because you know what you need, you're very clear and you're very settled within yourself. There's no fear, as you said before, of scarcity. Oh, I'm going to miss out. But I know who I am, what I can do. Therefore, I can then put others first in being the leader of my team, my business, my clients. Yes?
Yes. And exactly what you just said. I know what I can do. I cannot do all. I don't need to be the smartest person in the room. I can then let others contribute to my vision. Right. My definition of leadership is that the role of a powerful, a transformational leader shares their vision such that everyone else is enrolled in it, and wants to and accomplishes it for the leader. They know the vision as well as the leader knows the vision. So they can go, and the leader's there to support and ensure that they have what they need.
Yeah.
And so imagine working in a company with a leader like that, where you get what you really get to contribute. People love contributing.
They do. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So
supported that way.
Yeah. So before we go to pillar 3, just one more thing. So with the leadership in the work you do, the clients you work with, do you have a particular type you work with? Like, is it companies where they have all these different departments where their leaders need to know how to apply leading with love? Are you looking more at businesses in general, sort of a mid-size, or are you looking at individuals themselves within whatever they are doing when you're working with them, Jane?
Well, primarily leaders of organizations.
Right. Okay.
Because they're the ones that hold the vision for the organization. So mid to large size organizations.
Yeah, comes from the top down, doesn't it?
Exactly. A vision comes from the top down. And I've seen this, when a leader has a really clear vision and can share it and enroll, really get everyone else enrolled in it, magic starts to happen.
Yeah.
Because everybody people love playing in spaces like that.
So people love the following, but they like to do that within their own right, within their own validity of who they are and what they think and how they are themselves authentic. I think that's what I'm hearing you say.
Exactly. And while my book is focused on leaders and leadership, it actually, you can see the relationship even for an individual contributor in a team. Mm-hmm. Because if that individual contributor knows themselves, they can put the team first and the clients first.
Absolutely love that. That is so, you're just building here a case for, and I'm going to jump in about a little bit about the book writing process that I apply, because I can see such a similarity. But let us hear pillar 3, please, first, so that I get the full picture of where you're coming from.
Pillar 3 is create success for all. So, and again, we keep in mind that this is stakeholders, not only your employees. So when a leader is looking at their employees and allowing them and really encouraging, creating the space for them to be successful, those same employees want their clients to be successful. So if you've got like an IT, a development team, they want the users of whatever they're creating to be successful.
Yeah, right.
It just keeps spreading out. You want your suppliers, because when you allow your suppliers to be successful, they're going to stay in business a lot longer.
Yeah.
They're going to be able to support you to be successful.
Absolutely. I can relate to that full well, because before I was doing what I'm doing now, which is working with women in business in particular to write a book to really elevate their leadership status, their authority, and use that book perhaps as part of their branding tool as well. I had businesses where I was working with suppliers as well, and I can really get that, how important it is to have that relationship with them in the same way as you do with your employees, with the people around you who support you and your business to achieve something. That is excellent. So you are describing this in your book in detail, those pillars, yes?
Yes, that's the focus. And then there's a couple subordinate behaviors, ways of knowing yourself, which is leaders who know themselves are very authentic. Because they know who they are and they trust who they are, so they can be authentic. They can also be compassionate and empathetic.
Yeah. So let's recap on that, because this is the core of leading with love. Leader know thyself, others first.
Yep.
Create success for all. And really, those three pillars kind of go into each other. They're interconnected, is what from what I'm gathering. Yes. You really, a leader that knows themselves is still not going to have a really successful company. And the thing is, I was talking to someone this morning and about this, and we have study after study that companies that, while they're not using this framework, they do have a framework where they are taking care of their employees. And there are multiple studies that show that those companies are more successful. And I also mean successful financially. So this affects the bottom line also. I could imagine. So what comes to my mind when you're describing that and when you're sharing that, and particularly the three pillars, this interconnection I see there, the whole framework, it's like all hands on deck, that sort of very old-fashioned saying, which means everybody wants to jump in and be part of it, not because they are forced to do so, but because they are feeling connected and inclined to want to do the work, because their own vision is part of what is to be achieved. Is that what I'm hearing? Yes.
Exactly. And they really get the vision of the organization. You look at any company and when it was started, why it was started, because somebody had an idea that was going to make the world a better place. Then things happen and we start focusing on how much money we can make and how can we cut costs and make more money, and and we get away from, I was here to make the world a better place.
Exactly. Yeah. That's absolutely right. And I'm going to take that a little bit further. I just want to throw the comparison in here from the three pillars that you have and how they are so interconnected, because you really cannot put others first if you don't know yourself, how you are situated and positioned yourself. And you can't create that success for all if you have some sort of a scarcity mindset of your own. Really, they are so interconnected. I'm drawing the comparison to writing a book just because that just pops into my mind right now. Now, my approach with writing a book is very different to what is out there. And I start, the first pillar for me is really to have this outcome in mind. You cannot write, or it's difficult. You can write a book if you're not clear on what you actually want the book to achieve for you, but it is directly connected to marketing. So you need to look at your own marketing, what you're already doing, on how you're going to use and market the book. And in all of that, you need to have a look at what is this outcome, this profit for you. It's not just purely the monetary profit, but it's also the profiting with a purpose of achieving an impact in the world. So I can relate those pillars that I use very much to those three that you have. Now, interestingly, with all of this, how did you come to think this way? What was your path in a bit of a description summary for us?
Oh, this is so amazing, because so my background is technology. I have a bachelor's and a master's degree in information technology. And I actually started my career as a software developer back when we were called programmers. And I'm very left brain, but I'm also very right brain. And I really love people and I love supporting people. So I ended up moving into project management and leadership and then consulting, because I love solving problems. And I had a real tendency, and I was really good at going into projects that were in chaos and getting them straightened out. There were a number of times I was pulled into projects that were months behind schedule, and nobody thought we had a chance to get it done. And I would come in, and I would get related and, do all of this, and then we would get the project done. And then one day, this was probably about 10, 15 years ago, I was standing in the shower, and you know how ideas come to you in the shower?
Yes.
And this fully formed thought was into my brain called, I'm here to create a shift in the paradigm of how businesses do business. I had no clue what that meant. I wrote it on my bathroom mirror, and it's a thought that has never gone away. Every once in a while, it'll just pop in there, being fully formed. And then I started doing more leadership and executive coaching and things, and I started seeing things. And about a year ago, that thought came back, and I started seeing that what I was doing, all the things that I had done, was all about creating that shift. And so it was coming together. And then the beginning of the year, the idea for this book came, called Leading with Love. And I was like, I can't write that book. Leading with love? Who's going to want to buy that? Leading with love. Because I was like, we talked about earlier, I was thinking of that 13-year-old emotion. Oh, I'm in love. I'm in love. Who's going to buy that book? And then I remembered the book Power versus Force, and some other things started, how things start coming. And because I know I am out to make a difference in the world.
Mm-hmm.
People, we need to work. People need to work, and people want to work. And just imagine if everybody went to work and loved their job. Well, imagine a world with people going to work and loving the work and feeling and being, financially successful in their job, and the organization they're working for financially successful. We would have so many fewer problems in the world.
That's right. We'd all feel like we are contributing to something worthy within our realm, within where we stand in our work. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. And I haven't met anyone that doesn't have some kind of vision.
Yeah. And even if we come across perhaps in the younger, coming up through the ranks, younger generations, and they might be sort of not quite sure, I think as the maturer leaders, it is so important to set the example of, and I'm going to use your terminology here, leading with love. And by that, not meaning the big, oh, come hug, kiss love, but we're talking about putting that person first in way of acknowledging their own thoughts, their own contributions, acknowledging what they are good at, and perhaps, further that more than where they might struggle. It's always good to bring that out more.
Right.
Very, very valuable. Yes, a world where we all contribute. You have to do a lot of work yet, Jane, to get there.
I know. I've got a mission for a lifetime, right? A couple lifetimes, probably.
For sure. Now, your book is going to be roughly coming out next year, early next year, I think.
Early next year, yes.
Do you take pre-orders for that? Are you setting up in such a way people could contact you, perhaps directly send you a message, say, I'm interested? So
yes, they can. And I will be. So my website is lovasconsulting.com. So right. That's LOVAS. And they can email me at jlovas@lovasconsulting.com right. or connect with me on LinkedIn. And I will soon, very shortly, have a way to sign up to be on the pre-release.
On the pre-list. That's yes. Absolutely excellent. I'm looking forward to that. So you have shared some very valuable information here, steps to take on, and I think definitely in leadership, and we are all leaders in wherever we are, whatever area we're working in, whatever position we sit in, we are leading others, or we're leading the environment or something. I think that's what, we agree on that. So leading with love is really all about the balance, or not to overdo it on the force, but use the power side, the here, the guidance kind of a side. That is really what the love is about. And I'm just going to go back on your 3 pillars, so that's really clear in bringing that forth. Leader, know thyself, the most important part. Without that, nothing else really sits in balance. And then you can put others first, and you can create success for all. Jane, if I ask you, what would be some parting words from this interview for the listeners of this that you'd like to leave us with today?
Well, wherever you are in your organization, look at yourself first. And do you know yourself? And if you're really clear that you do, I really acknowledge you for knowing yourself. And if you don't, if you're not quite sure, reach out to me. Because that's the secret.
Yeah. That's getting that support from somebody who is already up there to help you with it. That is absolutely excellent. I thank you for your time, for sharing your vision here, giving us those insights today. Thank you, Jane, very much. And signing off for today, Sigrid Cast, book writing, publishing, and marketing specialist, with Jane Lovas, executive coach on leading with love. Thank you, Jane.
Thank you.